And welcome back to the PD Football Podcast. My name is Presh, and this week we have a special guest because Darren is unavailable. It's my cousin. I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Arnav. I'm very grateful to be on, and we had a very eventful game week 25.
Yeah. Do you want to mention who you support?
I support Man United.
All right. So how are you doing just in general?
I'm feeling very positive. Carrick Ball has changed my life. With four games...
Weren't you pro Amarim?
No. Me, I wanted him gone after the Grimsby game. But 4 games back-to-back now. 4 games on the bounce. We've delivered 3 points, gotten all 12. I'm really happy with that.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll get to United. But the first game of the game week was Leeds versus Nottingham Forest. It was the Friday night game. Did you watch this?
I did not.
Okay, so I would say that in terms of patterns... Okay, no. Before that, in terms of like changes to the teams, I didn't watch previous Leeds and Forest games, so I can't say, oh, this guy's playing instead of this guy. But, the teams just looked how I expect them to look. And, getting into the game itself, Leeds kind of abandoned the midfield. All their play was down the wings and, attacking down the wings. They just kind of... There were 3 Nottingham Forest players in the middle marking nobody. They were just in space doing nothing. And I thought, all right, guys, can't we... something should be clicking that there's something wrong here, right? So a little bit later in the second half, Forest finally get the ball. They get a little bit of control on the ball. They get some possession, but they can't make use of it. Who I was really impressed with is the Leeds left back. His name is Goodmanson. He was getting in behind a couple of times, really attacking them and getting very directly in behind, and I like that. The guy who didn't impress me is Morgan Gibbs-White for Nottingham Forest. What do you think of him?
Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt. What was the score?
The score, it was 3-1.
Leeds are in a relegation fight, eh?
No, they're not. Forest are in a relegation fight. Leeds are fine.
Okay, let me do a check really quickly. But anyway, I think, did you say who was Calvert-Lewin?
No, Morgan Gibbs-White. How do you feel about Morgan Gibbs-White?
He's a great footballer. I added him to my FPL. He's very consistent in this Nottingham Forest side because I think it's suited to him. He has a great finish on him, but I think he should move up to a bigger club soon, maybe this summer.
All right. I would point out that he was going to move to Spurs last summer, but he signed a new extension. I said it was 3-1.
It was 3-1.
Yeah. And you didn't check the table, but Leeds are 6 points clear. Forest are 3 points clear of West Ham. So Forest are in a relegation battle. Leeds have a little bit of leeway for them. And I just feel like Morgan Gibbs-White has mastered the art of looking busy while not doing anything. He looks really silky on the ball. He dribbles well. He drives forward well. And when he gets that first touch, when somebody passes to him, that first touch, sometimes he'll pirouette, sometimes he'll Cruyff turn. He looks really good. But what about, incisive passing? What about breaking the lines? What about putting in an excellent cross? He doesn't have that. I know you were just saying he's consistent in terms of returns for fantasy, but I just don't think in the big games he does anything really. He just looks busy, like I said. And not just him, it just was Forest just overall looked too casual. They didn't have enough urgency in the game, and that's why Leeds won.
Forest were just coming off quite a nice run where they were delivering points. They just beat West Ham. They drew to Arsenal, they beat Brentford, and then they drew to Palace, and then this is their first loss in 5 against Leeds.
Not bad then.
Not bad at all. So
not bad.
I hear what you're saying.
So in terms of the goals, individual moments, there was, for the Leeds goal, it was just literally one ball over the top and Leeds scored. That was their first goal. It was very, I don't want to say silly, but it just was silly. Just really poor... I don't know. I think the centre-back should have gone forward and headed the ball out. But, one ball over the top, Leeds score. For the second goal, just awful marking. I can't remember who, but somebody just drifts into the area and puts in a cross. And it was very shambolic defending. And that's not what we would associate with the Sean Dyche team, is it? Sean Dyche is his entire game is built on defensive solidity. And to see a Sean Dyche team be so naive, so poorly defensive,
lackadaisical.
It was shocking to see, actually. Then it was a really clever finish from Calvert-Lewin for the third goal. Somebody else was taking a shot and he kind of just aimed it towards the goal. Like there was already enough power on the ball. He just kind of directed it, placed it in the proper place, and really good.
He's having a very great season, Calvert-Lewin, at the moment.
He is. Equal goals to Ekatike, and you could say, Ekatike just joined a new club. Calvert-Lewin joined a new club this summer, and he's playing for a much worse team. So big ups to Calvert-Lewin, especially because a lot of people said he was finished. That actually a lot of people don't like him because I don't remember the brand, but he did an ad for somebody and he wore I don't want to say girls' clothes, but very feminine stuff. So a lot of people kind of hate on that, and they have that image of him in their head, so they upset with him because of that. But I big fan of Calvert-Lewin, especially this coming back from the dead.
I think he's had a great season so far. I am not sure about all that, but as the footballer, he's had quite a nice season so far. So let's hope he can add to his tally.
Because he's in your fantasy team.
Yeah.
So it was 3-1. The consolation goal just came from a cross and a nice finish by the Forest substitutes. Again, cannot remember their names, but it was the coach did something when two substitutes combined for a goal. So thought I'd mention that. 3-1, and that's the end of our Leeds versus Nottingham Forest segment. Our next segment is Man United versus Spurs, and I'm going to need you to kind of carry this conversation. I've seen the highlights, so I can, opine about certain things, but I was sick.
Lots to talk about in this game. I would say it was a lot more entertaining than the City-Liverpool game, just in terms of quality of goals, as well as just patterns of play. There was a lot of talk before the game that Spurs were going to wipe the floor or show up.
Wait, who said that?
Just a lot of online fans.
All right.
Just because they...
I think the overwhelming feeling, just from my point of view, the overwhelming feeling was that United were going to win.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the form United were in going into this game was a lot more deadly and a lot more lethal, and we have a lot more firepower up front that has a lot more
because Darren and I both do predictions before a game week starts, and we both predict a United win. So I just don't see how people online were like, Spurs are going to do this, do that, or I don't know what corners of the internet you are on, but
they were calling us their dogs because they beat us in that Europa League final.
So they deserve it, is what you're saying?
Definitely.
All right. So do you want to start with any changes that Carrick made to the team? Or is it the same team as...
Carrick went to the same lineup. He had Menu and Casemiro in that midfield, which completely revolutionized how we're playing. He started Cunha over Dorgu because Dorgu was injured. So we were a lot more pacier on the wings. We had a lot more control. And in terms of the actual game, Romero had a red card, so he got sent off. Shock horror.
A really nice moment in the post-match conference when Thomas Frank was speaking to the media, and he said, he got a red card, and I think he's unfairly targeted because, if you look at his record, it's not that bad. And the journalist says, actually, since he's been here, he's got the most red cards in the league. And Thomas Frank was like, I didn't know that. Imagine you're just talking bullshit and then you get called out immediately. That's great. Yeah, sorry, you were saying?
So he's now banned for 4 games, but even before
Isn't it 3?
No, it's 4 games because this is his second red card now.
Oh, okay.
Straight red card. So in terms of the actual game, even before the red card, United were having more chances than Spurs, even though the game did look more equal. Spurs looked like they were in it, but United were having more of the better chances and the clear-cut chances. And when the sending off did happen, it just gave the ball to United, and they controlled the game just from that red card all the way to the full-time whistle. And United were having so much fun on the ball. Spurs didn't even actually have a chance to run at United players because we were moving the ball too fast and we were using our passing, or the Spurs players were just dropping back too deep. So they went from sitting back and playing negative to almost going even double negative, which doesn't make really much sense. But they've gone even further back and laid down. So that's how Spurs performed. But in terms of, I would think the result has given them closed the door on any sort of Europe now, and they're actually in a relegation fight. I would say 6 points off bottom. You never know what Jared Bowen might do. As for United, we definitely in a top 4 race. But for me, I'm saying number 21 is coming home, because that's the whole point of belief. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was basically the United
I like
game.
that mentality.
Thank you.
Not to diss Darren, especially because he's not here, but he's like competing that's what's important. I'm like, no, winning is important. What the hell? But yeah, again, that's not a diss. That's just repeating what he has said himself. So yeah.
On the goals, the first goal, Brian Mbeumo, what a season he is having. It came off a corner, set piece FC they call us now, but we have ethical set pieces.
Yes.
Bruno to Menu outside the box, Mbeumo bottom corner, passes it in, Vicario no chance. And then for the second goal, Dalot puts in a cross, it comes off Sesko's forehead, might have just missed Sesko, and Bruno just gets the tap in there. Vicario has no other chance either.
Definitely didn't touch Sesko.
Bruno wheels away in his celebration as we win 2-0.
Okay, any other thoughts about the United game?
I think in terms of managers, Thomas Frank's CV has taken a massive blow now, because this Spurs side was capable of beating United when it really mattered, and to not be able to deliver when you need 3 points will be a very harsh thing. And as for Carrick, this is another tick in the box going in the right direction to possibly give him the job. For me personally, I would have already given him the job, because I've seen enough, as in terms of his previous stint before Ten Hag and now this stint here. We've just looked a lot more fluid, a lot more pacier. We've just looked a lot more likely to score, and we've actually scored a lot more goals in these last 4 games than we did under Amorim. So that makes me a lot more happier. So,
okay, I think you're getting carried away. Character way. First of all, I've heard that the actual mastermind of these 4 wins has been Steve Holland, Carrick's assistant, or one of the assistants. I don't know how true that is, or but apparently he's the one who's organized the defense in such a way that they become impenetrable.
I know. I don't know about all that, but I know the set piece came from Johnny Evans. That's a fact.
All right.
But in terms of the defense, I think we've always been, we've had the potential to be strong, especially because we still have De Ligt to come back. But I think the way we're set up tactically was because of Carrick, because he's actually placed Casemiro in front of the backline, and he's made Menu transition from a defense to attack, moving the ball and creating those patterns and those shapes so that we can break teams down. Because it's not just been like what we've played one way in these last 4 games. We've played several different types of ways, and we've gotten results.
Okay, but is 4 games a big enough sample size for you to judge somebody?
It's not just those 4 games. He also beat Arteta and an FA Cup as well. So I think
you're saying 5 games then?
No, there was other games as well.
What is your threshold for?
I think there's a lot of questions around managers nowadays. I think you need to see for your own eyes what your team is actually accomplishing with the manager that is in charge. For example, like Enrique, we had no clue he was going to get it together and win the Champions League, but they ended up playing some of the best football.
What do you mean we had no clue?
They were mid-table or not even looking.
Okay.
Yeah.
They weren't in the top 8.
Yeah, and then they got through, and then they started.
They peaked at the right time.
Yeah, basically.
Enrique won a treble before this at Barcelona, right? I'm just pointing out that
I hear you.
He has a reputation. It's not as if though this is some nobody that just turned up at PSG.
I'm not saying it's a nobody. I'm saying there is a point where everything will just start to click, and then the manager will have to start will end up taking credit for the good results, because he himself has now picked the team. He's made the tactics. And when you look at how we've played, it's not just like a tactical masterclass. We've looked like a more gelled together team. as opposed to before when we were just grinding up results. We didn't look. Everybody were playing as individuals, and this time we're playing as.
I still think you're getting carried away because what you're doing is comparing Carrick to Amorim. What you should be doing is comparing Carrick to like Guardiola. Okay, maybe not Guardiola, like Arteta to like a Klopp. The challenges to the even a Slot to the as challenges to the title. You shouldn't be comparing him to Amorim, who was an abject failure and a loser, right?
But also, I would like to add, Casemiro has been revolutionary, like to our midfield. He has made our midfield tick so beautifully because I don't know if you watched the game, but he had a no-look pass to Cunha against Fulham, and Cunha banged it top in. So I know that's just one pass, but my point is Casemiro has been quite the player, and even though he's leaving in 13 games, he's been really, really quality in these last few games. So I also don't think it's Carrick, due to Carrick. I also think it's these players are more committed to the system that fits the players that Carrick's brought in.
So do you think they down tools for Amorim?
Definitely.
And what makes you think they're not going to down tools again if Carrick does something they don't like?
I think again after that Europa League final, for me these players, these crop of players didn't. I wanted most of them gone. So for them to be pitching up and showing up for Carrick shows that they are light switch FC, where they show up when they want to. But for me, if they down tools for Carrick, it would have to be because Carrick has tactically or done something with the formation or made somebody in the squad unhappy, like Bruno.
Okay, but I'm saying. So, if you're a top manager, you don't care if you upset somebody, right?
Definitely.
They get into line because you're the one in charge.
100%.
If Carrick is tailoring his coaching to keep the players happy, I don't think that's the best way to move forward. In my opinion.
I 100% agree, but it was also what we did under Solskjaer too. We just made the players happy and then they ended up getting results.
Yes, but...
I know obviously this is not how United...
How many trophies did you win using the Solskjaer method?
That's irrelevant.
I'm just pointing out, I feel like Carrick is Solskjaer 2.0. And Solskjaer was Frank Lampard 2.0 because I feel like just hiring a former player because they used to be good at playing for your club to be the manager is just nepotism. Okay, maybe nepotism is not the right word, but... there's just a favoritism towards a certain person because they linked to your club. Arteta, Frank Lampard, who else did it? Xavi, Andre Pirlo, Xabi Alonso. I guess Xabi Alonso won the title in Germany, so he's not as, green behind the ears as the rest of them. The rest of them got that, it's Arteta's first ever job as a manager, and he became Arsenal manager. That's such a... for whatever reason, Arsenal fans are okay with it, but that just doesn't sit right with me. You need to have a CV.
I agree with you. You need to have a background in the game. But on that, Carrick, even though it looks like Carrick's first interim, he has, just even before that, he
managed Middlesbrough.
Yeah, and he got sacked from Middlesbrough, I think.
Yeah,
but he had some stuff on his CV before he got the United job, unlike Arteta, who just was given it.
Yeah, but I still think that's too...
shallow. Even Liam Rosenior?
Yeah.
And
but
Enzo Maresca.
The thing is, he didn't play for Chelsea, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying you need to...
Enzo Maresca won the championship with Leeds. Not Leeds, Leicester. He brought them up from the... that's why. So that's more of a CV than just being Pep Guardiola's assistant.
And when Maresca was at Chelsea, he won the Conference League and he won the Club World Cup.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're just listing achievements now.
Yeah.
All in all, do you want to wrap up this game?
I think it's pretty much wrapped up in terms of what I've said, but I think it's probably, as a United fan, I'm very happy with the way we're progressing, and a week of rest means we get a fully fresh Casemiro for our next Premier League games. And as for Spurs, I don't know what's going to happen to them. If they continue this run of form, it's very likely they could go down. I would love it, and I think I deserve it. But yeah, that's about it for the United game.
All right. Let's move on to the Arsenal vs Sunderland game. This was the what do you want to call it? The 4:00 game.
The late kickoff, yeah.
Not the late kickoff. This was like there were 3 time slots: the early kickoff, the mid kickoff, and the late kickoff. So this was the mid kickoff. The United game was the early one. This was the
Newcastle Brentford was the late kickoff.
yes. So Arsenal vs Sunderland and a bunch of other games on at the same time. But this is the one I happened to watch. So like I was saying, in terms of starting lineup, for Arsenal, the keepers swapped again. Raya came back in for Kepa from the. So they played Chelsea in the League Cup last week. So this is the changes from that. Calafiori came in for Hincapié, Havertz in for Eze, Trossard in for Martinelli, and Jesus for Gyökeres. So the number one thing I realized was that Sunderland were running all over them in midfield, and they had no control, but due to there not being any Odegaard. Odegaard is the one that holds on to the ball, like especially if things are like too chaotic. He's the one who will hold on to the ball and like
frustrate opponents.
Not frustrate them, just recycle possession.
Yeah.
Instead of like somebody who lets it go silly, lets it go away from them is very silly. He holds on to the ball very well, right? I thought Calafiori looked suspect in a lot of moments during the game, but that's partly because he was injured. He's only just come back, so when you just come back from injury, I'm a little bit like more lenient towards you because I don't believe like you're fully up to speed yet. So Calafiori, that's fine. Brian Brobby gave Saliba a lot of problems. Saliba got a yellow card, and I thought, oh, Saliba's in trouble here, because it was quite early on. It was in the first half, and I thought, okay, Brobby has Saliba on his strings. And for the rest of the game, Saliba had him checked, and I was like, wow, that's a really good comeback from being in a bad situation, right? So in the first half, Sunderland looked good, but they didn't really convert that possession into attacking moments. They would just win the ball, then pass it to the wing, then the wing couldn't do anything, and they would recycle possession, so forth.
They couldn't really get down the line. They had to just move it.
They moved it side to side. Yes, that's the problem. So in the second half, Sunderland come out attacking, and they don't. Could you just do me a favor? Could you just actually check what the score was? I didn't write it down again. I can't remember. I believe it was like 3-0, right?
I'm going to check now. It was 3-0, yes.
Yes. So the first goal comes from Zubimendi, a really excellent finish.
Off the post bottom corner.
Because they show like the back, like the camera from behind him, and he's not even aiming at the goal. He just whacks it, and it goes like around. It does like a nice like whoop motion and gets into like an inch perfect off the post goal. He hit it first time, and I just had no idea what he was aiming at. It was just an incredible finish, right? His celebration was a Marino tribute because Marino
is
injured, broke his foot or something like that, something really hectic like that. So hopefully Marino gets back soon.
Fair play to Zubimendi.
Yeah. Then, like I said, in the second half, Sunderland came out attacking, and they had the most control. But there was a really silly mistake from Alderete, and Gyökeres scored against the run of play. Because Alderete, instead of clearing the ball, was like kind of playing around with it in his back, like under pressure from Arsenal players. So when he does clear it, it goes to an Arsenal player, and they've turned it up high. Gyökeres scores. Very, what's the word when you get avoidable goal. Then for the last goal, Martinelli is on the counter. He just lays it off to Gyökeres, who scores again. Nothing to.
He slips and falls as well.
And he did the celebration on the floor. Nothing really too much to talk about with that. Your thoughts?
In terms of Sunderland's away on the road track, they're not really as good as they are at home. They're unbeaten at home.
Yes.
So for me, to be beaten 3-0 is kind of a statement. It's line in the sand for Arsenal, where this is now. They're committed to winning the league now. 3 points on the board.
It's Sunderland. It's Sunderland, man. The way you're talking about it's like they beat us.
They're unbeaten at home.
Yeah, I know,
Unbeaten.
but Sunderland are very bad on the road. Again, when we were doing our predictions, both Darren and I said Sunderland are going to lose because Sunderland on the road don't travel well. You know, they drew with us.
I guess I just wasn't expecting 3-0.
Okay, fair enough. You can argue that, right? On to our next match, Newcastle versus Brentford. This was the late kickoff on Saturday, and not really a lot of notes on this to speak about, but I just want to say this was a really high energy, high intensity, fun match. Both teams came out to play. They didn't come for like a nervy 0-0 draw, come out and, you know, play cowardly football. This was an amazing game.
They sent it 3-2 to Brentford at St. James's Park.
Yes.
Great game.
So yeah, that's the again, I don't know much about the teams, so I can't say, okay, this player came in for that player, but that was the general
Consensus.
play pattern. Newcastle attacked, Brentford attacked. Newcastle attacked, Brentford attacked. Kind of like a basketball game. Very both teams coming to attack, both teams coming to score. So Newcastle score from the corner technique that Arsenal use, which is place a man directly on top of the keeper. If the keeper can't run out and grab the ball, it's much easier for the attacker to score.
More likely, yeah.
More likely, right? So I think that's unethical, and we should do away with that type of keeper blocking. But what can you do about it?
It's effective. Arsenal are top of the league because of it. So
yes, can't kind of. Again, I don't want to say against the run of play, but because, like I said, it was attack. Dango, or I don't know what to call him. I used to call him Odango because on his shirt it says Odango, but everyone calls him Utara, which is his first name. So I'm just going to call him Odango. Odango puts in a delicious cross, and Janelt towers over the defender to score. That was a really good goal. Top marks for me. Jacob Murphy concedes a penalty. I didn't think that this was gonna, was a penalty. It does hit his arm. I'm not disputing that, but it's kicked directly. Like the ball is blasted at his hand. He has no time to react, to move, whatever. But it is what it is. Igor Thiago converts. It's 2-1 to Brentford.
He's having a great season too.
He has 17 goals. Very good. But a lot of them are penalties.
Yeah.
What's the word? I appreciate scoring goals, but you have to recognize when it's mainly penalties, right? Where are we now? Michael Coyote also concedes a penalty, and I think the referee was far too lenient, right? He concedes a penalty, but he doesn't even get a yellow card for it. What happens is Coyote is the last man, and he takes out the Newcastle attacker. So for me, it's what we call dogso, denial of a goal scoring opportunity, right?
Okay.
If you dogso is a straight red card, but he didn't even get a yellow card for it. He just concedes the penalty, and the game just kind of went on. I was very shocked at that, and the commentators didn't say anything, so maybe I'm just missing something, but to me it looked like he was the last man, pulled him down, and no retribution for it. That was very shocking. But yeah, I think it was Bruno G who scored the
penalty.
Yes.
He did. I wasn't watching the game, so I didn't see what you mentioned.
Yes, but I know for fancy reasons, he did score.
I took Bruno G out, I think.
Oh. Yes. Then for the final goal, it was kind of like Newcastle had the energy or the momentum with them. So this was, again, kind of against the run of play. But the keeper clears it. The Newcastle defender heads out. Brentford win the second ball and pass to Dango, who scores a fantastic goal. And Brentford win 3-2.
The game itself was really open, I think, from the highlights that I've seen. So there was definitely going to be a winner. And when that equalizer went in from Bruno G, there was always going to be a winner because both sides were playing for the win. So I'm not surprised Brentford got the winner because Brentford have been playing well. But I'm more shocked about the fact that Eddie Howe is not caught on and made progress with his team. Because I would have thought Newcastle, especially even after losing Isak and having Walter Made, he would have made that work, and there would have been a lot more progressive, at least. But it shows character to get back into the game.
I disagree. When Eddie Howe was at Bournemouth, never scratch that. When he just was at Newcastle and they made the Champions League, what I used to think was Newcastle were beating teams just by outworking them, not being superior in terms of ball stuff, like just being faster, stronger, physical traits. But when Newcastle went to the Champions League, they got wiped on the floor by certain teams because they couldn't compete technically, right? And I've always known Eddie Howe to not be a technical coach because of that. So to find out that his team is in a bad situation and he has no tactical answers to get out, that makes perfect sense to me because he's never been, a tactically astute manager. So yeah, on to our next story. So the next game I should have watched was Crystal Palace versus Brighton, or the other way around, Brighton versus Crystal Palace. But again, that was the early kickoff on Sunday and I missed it. I was asleep. I did wake up 25 minutes into the Liverpool versus Man City game, and that's what is our next story. I just thought Salah, Gakpo and Wirtz were extremely poor. You watched this game?
I did, but you've been saying Gakpo's been poor all season.
Yeah, and he had another poor game.
Definitely, I agree with you. But I think Salah had moments, but he was out of the game. I think Wirtz was just locked up, so he couldn't have any more chances. And we didn't do Chelsea versus Wolves, but...
Well, we'll get to them just now.
Okay, right.
The point of Wirtz is that he's an excellent dribbler. So when people gang up on him, he can dribble out of the situation. Or also, he's such a good passer that if there's pressure on him, he can pass it out.
He had a few good passes in the first half, yeah.
But I haven't seen either of those things to a high degree. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear that.
He's been doing it, but at a low, like at a 3 out of 10 level, when he should be at a 9 or 10 out of 10 level.
Doing it consistently.
Consistently, for the amount of money he costs, what he should be doing is much more than what he is doing, especially in the big games. It's no use scoring against Burnley and who else did he score against? Carabag and all them, man. But in the Man City game,
stat padding.
Yeah, that's the definition of stat padding, right? But in the big games against a Man City, he's just poor. That's not what I want to see. I like Wirtz, but honestly, he hasn't shown anything more than even Harvey Elliott at this point. So yeah, if we had to bring Harvey Elliott back and it was a choice between the two of them, I honestly don't know who I would pick. That's how,
Just from a Liverpool side, he brought on Curtis Jones much later than he should have. I think Szoboszlai was probably the best player on the pitch, even though he got sent off.
Yes.
And I think defensively, you guys had City closed off. It was just towards the end where it just became a little bit sour.
So I don't think you heard our last episode, but I was complaining about the fact that this window came and went and we didn't add any defensive reinforcements. Now we're forced to play Szoboszlai at right back. We'll just put a pin in that. We'll speak about that just now, right? In terms of general play, I would say McAllister was more willing to try risky passes. We were getting quite a few really good balls from the middle of the park, which is not what we've been doing in recent weeks. Recent weeks, we'll just pass side to side and then put in a cross from the side. Now we're getting actual line-breaking balls through the middle, and I thought that was very...
progressive.
Not progressive, just because it's a good thing. It's a good thing to...
Because in comparison, you would go side to side and then go to Gakpo, who would sky a shot, or you go to Salah, who would just miss it, but you wouldn't be delivering those crosses into your striker like Ekatike. So especially in the first half, you were a lot more cutthroat in terms of going forward, because Ekatike had a lot more chances in that first half than he did in the second half.
Oh, I disagree with that. Again, based on just what I saw, I thought we were more attacking in the second half than the first half. The first half was a lot more even. Again, I have to say I missed 25 minutes of this. It was a lot more even for me. And then the second half, we were kind of all over them, despite the fact that they won. But yes, let's get into... Okay, not individual moments, but there was a goal for Liverpool. And after that goal, things just changed drastically. We kind of sit back and try to
defend for the win, yeah.
Defend for the win. And I disagree with that totally. Slot has been doing this since he came in, and it makes me so frustrated because a big team shouldn't be doing that. A big team should be going for the win to make it 3-1, not to make it to protect a 2-1 lead. Especially in a big game. That's not, with like lethal finishes, that's just not on. You have to
see the game out.
Yeah, put it out of range. I prefer possession. If you're leading, bring on another midfielder and recycle possession between your midfield trio or however many there are in the midfield, right? Maintain possession and then you'll win the game. Bringing on a defender invites more pressure, and we'll get into individual moments now, right? So the first goal for Liverpool was Liverpool's only goal, incredible free kick from Szoboszlai. It had this lovely swerving motion. It went like
left to right, top corner.
It went through the hole in the wall and went on off the corner.
But he's been doing this all season. He did it against Arsenal too. I mean, he did it against Arsenal. So I feel like
I didn't say corner. I said corner. Okay, sorry. Yes, you were saying.
I think he's probably the best dead ball specialist in the league at the moment, because
not Bruno.
But if we're going off actual, like the way he's striking the ball and with the amount of pace that ball
and he's scoring for Hungary as well. It's not just us.
And the fact that he's scoring in this Liverpool side where they're not even creating that many chances, it just shows his quality.
Well, that's the point, right? Slot is okay. We'll get to Slot just now, but carry on with what you're saying.
Just in terms of the goal itself, it was a very, very beautiful free kick. It just swirled, came from left to right, top corner. Donnarumma stood there like a statue. He had no chance of saving that, and he runs off in celebration, doing a snap. And
for me, goal of the season contender. But it's currently my two favorites are this and last week. Solanke scored a scorpion kick against City as well. So the City team are giving away Puskás winners every week. Okay, but yes, so that's the first goal. City's goal comes from just a ball back in the area. Haaland heads it forward and Bernardo finishes off. But what's important was the entire line steps forward except Szoboszlai. Why? Szoboszlai is not a right back. Szoboszlai is a box-to-box midfielder who has some good defensive instincts. That's why he can play at right back, but he shouldn't play at right back. It's, you know what we were saying about just now, we were saying
just also on that, as a right back, he loses that pressing. You lose that pressing capabilities if he plays at right back.
Yes, he's our best midfielder.
100%.
Taking your best midfielder out of midfield and putting them at right back is a huge problem, right? And that's why he didn't step forward with the rest of the line. Otherwise, Bernardo would have been offside, and that would have been.
But you also have to take the game into consideration, where you couldn't really play your youth your youth right back, which was Ramsey.
Yes, I said
because
Ramsey's gone.
Oh, okay. Well, my point is, Semenyo would have tore whoever was on that side apart. So at least you would have that senior player getting shoehorned at right back.
So here's the not order of operations. What am I? Who's gonna play there? First choice, Connor Bradley. Connor Bradley would have gotten torn apart regardless. He's not a good defender. 2, Jeremy Frimpong, who is very fast. I doubt he would have gotten torn apart because he can run back. Maybe he would still get dribbled past, but his pace often bails him out. He's also injured. 3, Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez, very good one-on-one defender in wide spaces. Would have probably done the best job. Also injured. Now, this is what I was mentioning earlier on about we didn't get any defensive reinforcements. Now we're forced to play Szoboszlai there. But that's not the case, because early on in the season, things were so bad, Szoboszlai had to shift back into midfield. And you know who played right back? Curtis Jones. Why don't we play Curtis Jones at right back and Szoboszlai in midfield? It doesn't make any sense to me to not be doing that. It's very frustrating to see this every week. Even Darren was celebrating. He was like, more Szoboszlai right back shifts. And laughed. because he knows.
On the City first goal, even though Szoboszlai is keeping Bernardo on the side, that goal came out of nothing, where it was just a cross, a header, and Bernardo was going to finish that. He slid and finished it. That came out of... They had no real chance creations before that, and that goal, if Alisson was just a little bit more aware of what was happening, I reckon he could have saved it. But it just went bottom. It went through his legs, actually, I think, and that was the equaliser.
Well, Bernardo was 1-on-1 in very close quarters. It's difficult for Alisson. I don't blame Alisson, because like, if you're 1-on-1 versus the keeper isn't to blame, I feel. Right? If the keeper can bail you out, cool. If not, it wasn't their fault. Then for the second goal, Alisson gives away a penalty. It's one of those where you wonder if the rules have to change.
It's reckless.
Because if Mateus Nunes takes a shot, Alisson saves the ball and everything is fine. Mateus Nunes kicks the ball out into touch. Now Alisson clears him out and he doesn't get anywhere near the ball. So now it's a penalty.
Yeah.
To me, that should be an indirect free kick. Because the ball was already gone. He had no way to play the ball. Okay, the ball was still in field. That's why it was given. But the ball was on its way out. Nunes had no opportunity to get the ball and do anything with it. So I know it sounds like I'm just saying that because it's a Liverpool, it's a decision that went against Liverpool. So you think, oh,
red tinted glasses.
Yes, my red tinted glasses on. But I disagree. I think goals like that shouldn't be, or penalties like that. You need to either change the rules or something, because it's not the best.
We've been saying this for a while now, where referees, not in just this game, have been very poor over the season. So giving away a penalty, it looks, even when you look back on it, you think, okay, it does look like a penalty, but they've been giving penalties left, right and centre for even worse challenges, and then not giving penalties for even worse than those ones. So I feel
consistency.
Consistency is horrible with the referees.
All right. Then the last action I want to talk about is sort of the second last, or action of the game. Cherki shoots from far away because Alisson is up the pitch trying to score.
For what reason? Why? I don't understand that as well. We Slot moves Alisson all the way up to the midfield, up to the attack there to get an equaliser.
Yeah.
You're trying to equalise the game here.
Yeah.
That's pretty shameless.
What would you rather have, 1 point or 0 points?
I think in terms, I think
what's bigger, 1 or 0?
Okay, wait. I don't think it was necessary for Alisson to go up there, because it was just, you guys were attacking just before you talk about this last goal. Salah had a moment where I went outside the boot and he went straight to Ekitike, and Ekitike should have finished that. That's just one chance out of how many, and I think it was completely unnecessary for Alisson.
One chance of out of how many? I'm asking
there was a few chances.
No, there wasn't.
There was a few Ekitike could have done better on.
We did not create enough chances, right?
As many as you should, yeah.
Enough to win the game.
True.
So I know you. I watched the highlights. You're talking about the one Salah pass to Ekitike. Ekitike, horrible miss.
Yeah.
That is one chance. That was one clear-cut chance.
Very true.
The rest of the game, we didn't have a single other clear-cut chance like that. The thing Slot has chosen to focus on in his post-match interview, that Salah was brought down and the guy didn't get a red card. Which, how about look at your patterns of play? How about look at your defensive structure? How about, all these other things? But he'll focus on the refereeing to avoid having that conversation about himself. Which I wasn't Slot out, but day by day it's becoming harder to be a Slot in guy. I'm not Slot in. I'm Slot out based on his comments where he dissed us. But
just from a City point of view too, City didn't play the best football that there was that day. Haaland was invisible most of the game. When Cherki came on, he did okay. He didn't use Foden. What else happened? Just in general,
Semenyo didn't have a great game.
Another stinker from Mamouche too. It was just, the City and Liverpool looked a lot. They just looked like they were butting heads more than anything. So I think the result was not fair. I think a draw was probably fair, but the fact that City got the win, means they get to chase down Arsenal.
Yeah, I think the result. Oh, we still haven't talked about the last thing, but the result is very good for the race for the league, but not good for us in terms of top 4 race. So Yeah. The last kick of the game, Turkey kicks it. Szoboszlai fouls Haaland. Haaland fouls Szoboszlai, and the ball goes in. The referee goes... Now, the referee gets it spot on.
100%.
Szoboszlai fouls Haaland, meaning it's a red card for Szoboszlai, and a free kick because it happened outside the box. Haaland, but a play advantage, right? Then Haaland brings down Szoboszlai, which means you have to go back to the original thing. So referee got it spot on. But I just thought Szoboszlai, there's absolutely no need to grab Haaland. We're 2-1 down. Losing 3-1 versus losing 2-1 there's no difference, right?
And you would have been better off losing 3-1 and keeping Szoboszlai for the next few games.
Yes. I think he's only banned for one game because it's a non-violent red card. Like, violent conduct is 3 games and non-violent is a 1 game. But whatever the case is, he's going to be banned for 1 to 3 games, depending, right? So the game is done. You just threw away next week. We're playing Sunderland, who...
away as well.
Yes. Sunderland, who are unbeaten at home. We desperately need 3 points. What are you doing, Szoboszlai? Just such poor decision-making, such a frustrating game to watch. Again, I didn't watch the full game, but from what I did watch, very frustrating. Yeah, do you have anything else you want to say before we close this up?
No, not really. But I do think City aren't going to chase down Arsenal simply because the way they played against you guys, even though they didn't deserve the result and they got it, won't... in terms of just the general, when you look back on it, I think City are just going to take this result and then move on. But I don't think they look anywhere near ready to win a title.
Well, they have a few easy games coming up, so perhaps winning those easy games will give them confidence, and then that confidence is what will lead them to the title. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
And for you, where do you go from here?
Us. Okay, on this podcast I've said what we should do is wait till the summer, sack Slot, get in Luis Enrique. Enrique wants to come to the Premier League. He said so himself in interviews. But he's not going to leave PSG mid-season. So we should just wait it out. But we're at the point where we may not make top 4. Or it's actually because of certain things, it's a top 5 now that the top 5 go to Champions League. So we need something to change, and I don't know what that's going to be. Hopefully, United, Chelsea, Aston Villa all fumble horribly and we can get back into it, because I don't see us getting back into it based on our own qualities, our own good qualities. We're so fucking shit. Anyway, some miscellaneous games from the weekend that I was able to watch some highlights for. The first game is Fulham 1, Everton 2. So Fulham's goal was cartoonish. Everton had 2 chances to clear the ball but just didn't, leading to the ball rebounding off Mikalenko from a Jimenez shot, and it was given as a Mikalenko own goal, right? All the chances were falling to Fulham, who failed to capitalize on their dominance. For Everton's first goal, Mikalenko did a nice turn which took 3 Fulhams out of the game. 3 Fulham players out of the game. It was a really good turn. And passed to Keenan Dewsbury Hall.
Who's back from injury,
yes, and he slotted home. For Everton's second goal, they scored from a corner. Again, using Arsenal's technique of blocking the keeper. The keeper tried to punch the ball but couldn't because he was blocked off. And it came off the keeper's hand and went in. So, again, very...
Unfortunate. Yeah,
but yes, a tactic that works, but I just don't like it.
It's very disgusting.
Unethical.
Yeah.
Unethical. That's the right word. Our next game, Burnley 0, West Ham 2. So Somerville scored with the first chance of the game. Mateus Fernandes won the ball in midfield and passed to Somerville, who poked it over the keeper. Really good goal.
Somerville's having a good season too so far. He really picked it up over the last couple of weeks.
Well, it's been 6 weeks. It's not been a season.
Yeah.
6 weeks doesn't make a season. But he has, the last couple of weeks, been pretty good. So I'll give him that. For the second goal, we've been speaking about Diouf. Darren and I don't mean you. Do you know who Diouf is?
I do not.
He's the left back for West Ham, and he has a wicked cross on him, and he just fizzed in a brilliant cross to Tati Castellanos, and he just had to direct it goalwards because there was so much power, so much whoop on that ball. He just a little touch and it would just flew in the goal, right? All the other chances went to West Ham. Based on the highlights, it was just like a walk in the park for them. So really nothing to
Right home.
Right home about. Yes, I really hope West Ham survive relegation. Nottingham Forest, they can go down for fuck them. They beat us 3-0. Yeah.
They did the double on you, didn't they?
No, we haven't played them again. We only played them once.
Right, okay.
Last season they beat us at Anfield. Yeah. Wolves 1, Chelsea 3. So Doherty makes a silly challenge on João Pedro, who was going away from goal to give them a penalty. And that, again, this... I understand down to the letter of the law it's a penalty, but once again I just think he's going away from the goal. That should be an indirect free kick because it's like you're not stopping him from going from taking a shot, or he's different direction. But yeah, it is what it is. They get a penalty. Palmer coolly slots away. Then Mosquera just pushes João Pedro over in the area. Literally just walks up to him and pushes him over. So another penalty, obviously, and Palmer converts with no problem. A little bit later on, Cucurella does a cutback and Palmer finishes excellently.
That's a first half hat-trick.
First half hat-trick for Palmer. Really good player. 2 penalties, you would say, so some people may discredit his hat-trick because of that, but regardless, I think Palmer's a top player.
I think coming back from injury and scoring 2 penalties as well is not a bad day in the office at all.
Although I had Enzo in my team for fantasy, and Enzo is the penalty taker when Palmer isn't there. And I thought, okay, Palmer's injured, so he's not going to be back soon. So I brought in Enzo instead of Palmer. And yeah, Palmer just absolutely finishing me, rinsing me.
Stat padding though.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see Wolves' goal. Do you want to speak about that?
I didn't see it either, but is there a conversation to be had about conceding against Wolves?
What do you mean?
Just defensively. Wolves are going down with 8 points, so is there a conversation?
Anybody can concede a goal.
Especially going away from home.
I don't take that as something that's crazy. Okay, the last 2 games that we're not going to talk about is Bournemouth versus Aston Villa 1-1 and Brighton 0, Palace 1. Like I said, we're not going to talk about it, just mentioning that it's there.
Villa dropping more points.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're done. Do you have any topics that you want to talk about before we close up here?
No, I'm pretty happy with everything that we said. The one more thing, just mind the gap there, yeah? You can mind the gap.
All right, fine. All right, thank you for listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, give a like, etc. Importantly, it needs to be a 5-star review. You can find all our links at pdfootball.com. That's the letter P, the letter D, then football.com. Please tell a friend to tell a friend, tell a family member. Yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right.